today on Next Up, I unveiled my latest invisible primary rankings of the 2028 prospective Democratic candidates. I only did number 1 and number 2 in a number of categories. I've been doing this since the 2004 cycle, bringing it back for this cycle to say people make suggestions about, well, this is a strong candidate, this is a strong candidate. I'm about rigorous categories, rigorous analytics. What are the things that matter? And it's interesting, they've changed over time. It used to be if you were doing the invisible primary rankings, you'd say, well, who's good in Iowa, right? That'd be an important thing to look at. Who's top in Iowa? Well, I don't know the top in Iowa matters. Top in New Hampshire might still matter. Money always matters. So let's look at some of these. And ladies, I'd love you to just weigh in if you agree with my rankings, 1 and 2, or not. So let's look at A1, please. This is who I think will be the top access to money. Number 1, J.D. Pritzker, a self-funder, and then Rahm Emanuel. Rahm Emanuel, one of the greatest fundraisers in American history, literally. Now, I'm not sure he'll raise small dollars, but I think he'll be an incredible bundler. He knows every bundler in the Democratic Party. And I think he'll have a super PAC run by Ari Emanuel that will also be very well funded. So, Nomi, what do you think of my 1 and 2 in the invisible primary for money?
I think it makes sense, except I kind of feel like Emanuel's day has come and gone. I think that
just talking about money now. Don't do his overall candidacy. You think even as a fundraiser, his days
I think, it doesn't mean that donors can't double dip with other candidates, but I think some of the Hollywood stuff might not be as hot as we would think. Hollywood's shifted their opinion. Emanuel's fairly centrist and very Zionist. And I think Gavin Newsom's going to be in the mix, and he's going to try to suck up that oxygen.
So would you sub Newsom in as number 2?
I probably would. Yeah.
Okay. Amber, what do you think of my 1 and 2?
Yeah, I mean, Nomi's more tapped into the Democratic fundraising space than I am, but I tend to agree that I would probably put either Newsom at number 2 or maybe even AOC as kind of a wild card because she has so much enthusiasm and is able to get that grassroots fundraising support and has already been raising millions of dollars just as a member of Congress.
Yeah, just great input. Just so you know, those were my 3 and my 4. So
awesome.
You could argue it either way. All right, let's go to number A11, digital game. This is about making your own content on all platforms. Who can make content that people are going to want to see on TikTok, on Insta? Who's got digital game? Who understands? It's not just about one viral video, right? It's about consistently making stuff. And Mamdani has set the standard here. Consistently making stuff. Some goes viral, some doesn't. So number 1, AOC. Number 2, Gavin Newsom, who really intellectually understands it. Not as good of a performer as she is. So Nomi, start with you again. What do you think of my 1 and 2 on digital game?
Right. Unless there's somebody I'm just not thinking of right now, I don't think even some of the younger. I think Mayor Pete's going to try, and he's going to it's just going to tank. I mean, no young person, nobody under the age of 50 has any interest in Mayor Pete.
Okay, Amber.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. AOC is the obvious pick for number 1, and then Newsom has been sort of the sleeper media savvy guy with this podcast run, especially having on those right-wing guests. It's been really interesting to watch. I mean, I obviously think that his recent revision of some of his past policies is going to be problematic for him, but the fact that he's willing to sit down with people, but the fact that he's willing to sit down with people on the other side and kind of be a little bit less scripted is good news for him.
All right, let's do one more. Number A6, the hang test. Who do people want to hang with? Incredibly important in my experience. You guys are gonna hammer me.
Gosh.
You guys are gonna hammer me on this. Buttigieg 1 and Governor Shapiro number 2. Now, just to be clear, I don't make these up. I do a ton of reporting with Democrats, and this is the feedback I got. Now, not everybody thinks Pete Buttigieg is somebody they want to hang with, and I know he's got problem with certain parts of the Democratic Party. But my reporting suggests that overall, number 1, Nomi, you think that's ridiculous. I've
hung with Pete Buttigieg. He's he's fine, but he's not.
All right, so who would you make 1 and 2 if you don't like my 1 and 2? Who would you make 1 and 2?
These are great. Honestly, I think Pritzker. I think Pritzker's just like this. He's just kind of a fun guy. You're like Walz, honestly, we're not talking about Tim Walz, but Walz is like really.
Yeah, I didn't include Walz because he says he's not running. I try to only include people.
Okay, fair enough.
And I did include Wes Moore, and he does pretty well in some of the other categories. He said he isn't running, but I don't believe him.
I don't believe any of these people. Yeah. I think my concern with Buttigieg and Shapiro is they're too coiffed. Like the Democratic base, if you're going to go to a beer hall, they'll smell that like, oh, how convenient that Pete Buttigieg has a beard now as he's going on podcasts.
All right, Amber, what do you think of my 1 and 2?
They're so boring.
Huh.
Like,
All
do
right,
I
so
want to hang out?
which potential Democratic presidential candidates would you put 1 and 2 on the hang test?
Westmore seems cool. Look, he can sling beers at Pickle Pub. Like, yeah, I'd have a beer served to me by Westmore. And honestly, Newsom, because like, even though I think he's a scumbag, he's very charismatic, obviously.
Okay, I've hung a little bit with those guys, and they're not bad. They're high on my list too, but that's what's the result of my reporting. All 15 categories available, laid out in Next Up. So go YouTube or on my podcast. You can see what I thought, and I'd love your feedback on those. Want more great clips like that? I've got an idea. Hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss a clip, and you can always watch our full episodes, join them live, go to twoway.tv.